Hi, Leather Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk about a possible day or two packing for a trip to Washington, D.C. Stay tuned. I'm going to give you some of my advice for how to do it and whether or not it's safe to do so during a pandemic. One of the first things I like to consider when I'm planning to pack for a trip is what my plans are. And I only can afford to spend 2 days there. I know I'm going to be going to a political march, and the next day I know I have a chance to go to an AA meeting. So I'm going to plan for that. Those are going to be two quite different things. Another thing I have to consider are the clothes I'm going to travel and how cold it's going to be at night, and I'm going to plan accordingly. And also there is sometimes nighttime events at the Kennedy Center that are free, and they were 7 days a week, and I believe they have outdoor seating now because of the COVID. So those are what I'm going to take into account. I'm going to get the formal wear out of the way. I feel like wearing black with this election season. So this is a top. It hits me down to a little bit below the belt. And this actually is a convertible dress that right now is in its mini dress form. But if I pull this fabric up, let me show you what happens. I can turn this into a really long skirt, or I can turn it as a calf length dress, or I can wear it as a flowy mini dress, or I can actually wear it as a mini dress that's tight on top and flowing on the bottom. I got this when I was an Avon lady. It's easy to wash. You can wash it by hand. I'm sure you could probably put it in the dryer, but it does have a lot of spandex in it. But a piece like this is really great to travel with. You can cover the gamut. Like if you wear this full length and can you see wearing the sequins on top of it? And this would definitely fit in one of those formal things with the women with the gowns and the fur things and the fancy high heels and stuff. So that's my formal wear. I like to be smart about travel clothes. The temperature could go well into the low 50s. You're dealing with the wind coming off the Potomac River. The bus terminal is chilly out in the air. Certainly Lafayette Park is going to be cold. And really, you want to cover your ass on a city bus, I'm thinking, and on the Greyhound. So this time around, instead of my usual miniskirt, I'm going to be wearing spandex pants. And these would be really appropriate with the patriotic theme. I'm going to go ahead and wear the shirt that I'm going to wear for the rally. And that's going to be this shirt here. But because you never know what the temperature is going to be like on the buses, I'm going to put a guess that they're going to turn the AC on really cold. I'm going to top it with this so that I have an extra long layer. I have to think about there's going to be times when I'm going to just wear several of these so that I don't have to wear too heavy an overcoat and end up having a whole bunch of stuff to carry. I'm not planning on spending a week there. This is going to be 2 days maximum, maybe 3 if there is some special opportunities going on. But you know what? This is starting to seem less and less like it's even a good idea. But gotta have your travel clothes. That's the most important thing. I'm bringing another pair of pants. These are quite hippie. They're comfortable, and comfort is the most important thing. The most important factor I have, especially in the pants that I'm wearing. If you're going to be sitting any length of time, I really think elastic waistband is the best. And even though they may not be as heavy as some warmer materials, it's still the practicality for the full range of motion. And I really think that I already tested them with the shoes I was planning on wearing. And you know how some bell bottoms can be so long that they're really hard to wear unless you wear higher shoes of some kind. They're much harder to hem unless you can just go and take them to a tailor. But these are just the right length. There was a red pair that I really wanted to think of bringing, but they're like about a half an inch too long, and I could just tell that they would get scuffed up and dirty. And plus, maybe bright red wouldn't be the most practical thing right now. And I didn't want to bring all black stuff because I didn't want to blend in with Antifa. So I thought that this would be a good bet. I can't tell you how comfortable they are. And for the mini skirt, I decided on something that would be not vulnerable to wind and give me some warmth. The only thing is, even though it won't move, being that it's not a flare skirt, it's still the sort of thing that would give me no protection from extreme wind. So for AA meeting, I'm thinking something like this would be totally innocuous. It doesn't say anything about pot, and it doesn't say anything about politics, and gives a little bit more arm protection than a standard t-shirt would. And again, all these things can be layered for extra warmth if I happen to be stuck outside and the temperature to really drop, or when you're waiting in the waiting area for the Greyhound bus, the outside area. I certainly wouldn't feel comfortable hanging out in the room, and they probably don't have any places that people can congregate anyway. It'd be my understanding that if they're really taking this pandemic seriously, they would be very seriously limiting the places where people can congregate, especially indoors. I would think that that would be the most dangerous thing. So this, and I have been putting most of these things, except for, of course, the travel clothes, in a bag, most likely what I would use, just so that we can see how much space this takes in a backpack. Uh, Extra pair of socks. I am wearing the green pot leaf socks. I'm certainly probably not wanting to be wearing them to the AA meeting, but that is where those other stockings that I just had in my hand will come into play. I have red stockings here that are nice and warm, but there's this other pair of stockings. Hold on. These do not need socks. They actually go all the way to the feet. Now, I think it was always, oh geez, now I'm going to have to wash one because I dropped it on my floor. But there is a purple pair that I was thinking of bringing. These are a perfect match with that New Jersey shirt, and these can be worn with that black skirt. So, and this is a so-called reusable tote bag that is really good to put something like your clean clothes in your backpack. It also comes in handy in case you ever get searched. That way your clothes are all in one place instead of them automatically spilling out when your bag gets unzipped. Liners are always a good idea. And let me show you how easily they fit in this backpack. Another reason why I would bring this backpack, even for as little as 2 days, I have a little Christmas package for some friends of mine out there. And the package itself is this size, and it's really seriously densely packed. So having to have everything, it's good knowing that you can have everything strapped to your back. You're not dependent on leaving your things someplace. Really, I cannot imagine not being able to fit everything in here, including possibly my outerwear. Look who's here. I saw him come in, I saw him eat some food, and then I saw him start to leave. And then as I went into the hallway, he started to run like he was going to run into my brother's room. But then he stopped, and I swooped up on him, and I played Steal a Cat. It's called Steal a Cat. It's what you do. When somebody sneaks up on you, steal a cat. You don't want to be in my video. You don't want to be in my video. I have to resort to underhanded means to get my cat to cooperate, right? So, oh, look, I get to see the belly. Oh, pretty belly. Watch those paws. Oh, look, I got my baby. Oh, I got my baby. Go eat your food. I was thinking about my outerwear. This seems to me much more practical than the heavier leather jacket that I was going to wear that would be so much bulkier. And even though I could stuff it all in the backpack, this is a windbreaker. It's not just any old pink windbreaker. If you read the front, it says Trump Plaza. So this kind of is a bit meaningful. It's a large, so it's not necessarily flattering, but it has pulls on the side that can make it a little bit more form-fitting. If I wear this with that bush long sleeve underneath it, and then underneath it a series of layers like either the t-shirts, underneath with all them, that should be plenty warm enough. And the fact that this is a hoodie means that it is waterproof. I think that that would be much more practical than all the additional weight of a leather jacket that can only be worn a couple of times. And this is taken into account what I'm guessing the lows might be. If 58 is supposed to be the high for Saturday, lows can be pretty chilly, especially when the breeze combines with the river. You're going to get some breezy, drafty feelings. Definitely, it can be cold, especially if you're hanging out late at night. Oh man, now I got a face full of cat hair. One nice thing about that lipstick that I showed you, it's really easy to clean off. If you have a wet washcloth and say you had cat hair on it, you could actually take off the cat hair without disturbing the lipstick. How many lip colors do that? And as you can see, for the most part, it hasn't rubbed off at all. This doesn't really come off on coffee cups. Remember that BH Cosmetics Color Lock lipstick line, and you can very easily get them on sale for $2. Look who I found. This is my Cassie girl. Oh, my Cassie girl. Now I got a face full of cat hair. My Cassie girl. Isn't she pretty? Oh, I couldn't find her. I was looking for her up and down the hall. She was up underneath the kitchen table, flat up against the wall. And, you know, she's a real little girl. And I totally didn't see her. I finally found her. I was wondering where she was. Like thinking, where could she go? Is she in a closet or something? You know, she likes to go in a closet where to keep the toilet paper. She's good at finding hiding places. And she's good at singing a song to her people. Right? You a song singer? You a song singer? Oh yeah. Why you sing? You sing so much. You know, can you hear yourself sing? I mean, you know, I used to sing to you until I learned that you couldn't hear, and I felt like a total idiot. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think you're ridiculous when you sing to a cat anyway, but you sing to a deaf cat, it's kind of stupid. Right? Right, it's stupid. Oh my goodness, come on, chill out. Hey, what? You don't like to be in my videos? What? You should have heard when Tabby Boy played Poke the Bear with her. She was underneath that colonial table chair over there, and Tabby Boy went and sniffed her or something, and the next thing she went, And Tabby Boy went, kind of like that jaguar. He's like, if he wanted to hurt you, he would have killed you by now. He's not going to hurt you. You're ridiculous. He's scared of you. He's starting to be tired of your bullshit. He's tired of your bullshit. Alright, I'll put you down. Here's another thing to consider given the times we're living in. Having a means to sanitize surfaces, big surfaces that you have no choice but to sit on or maybe to put a computer on. I like to reuse the fabric from clothes of mine that are totally stretched out of shape. You can take something like this cloth material, you can cut it in smaller pieces and spray it with a bleach infused cleaner like this. Put it in a plastic Ziploc bag, put it in your backpack. I would recommend using one of the external most pockets, and that way as soon as you get ready to sit down someplace or touch a surface, you have these cloths. I think it's a little bit more practical and less bulky than carrying a lot of disinfecting wipes, even though they are good to have too. This is what I do whenever I bring my computer out in the field, since one of my favorite ways to film my turnarounds when I'm outside is to put the computer on a trash can or a recycle bin. Always using the sterilized surface before I put my computer on, and also wiping off my computer on all its edges after I'm done being out in the field. That's a real good safety measure to take. If I make this trip, the makeup would be kind of minimal. Only 2 days, not a whole lot of different things to do. And since you're wearing a mask all the time, foundation wouldn't really be necessary. I'm bringing this along just as a cover for the eyelids so that you can put your eyeshadow on. And if I actually decided that I wanted to or needed foundation or I had a reason that I could film without a mask, then it's good to have. For eyeshadow, I'm bringing this red. It's actually a gel pot cream color from ColourPop. And this red color is called Jelly Much eyeshadow. And the color is called Strawberry. And it's a color that you don't need to use on a brush. All you need is a fingertip. And you can get a real nice smoky eye just like this. Very uncomplicated. Another thing though, it's not waterproof, which might actually be a good thing. That way it's much easier to wash your face if, say, you were sleeping on a friend's couch and you just wanted something that you didn't have to scrub and tug and take a whole lot of time in the bathroom, or maybe you wanted to be real discreet about it. Colors like that really do come in handy, unless of course it's raining outside. This is the eyeliner I'm bringing. This is actually supposed to be waterproof, and this is what I'm wearing right now. This is from Sephora, and the color is called, I don't know. And what, you know what? I can take a look at the label with the color. I don't know why they have the label so small that I can't even read it with this. Made in Germany. What the fuck? Well, whatever the name of the color is, it's really a bright blue. So it would be suitable for any kind of red, white, and blue kind of events. For my lipstick, even though it almost seems ridiculous to even bring one considering the mask wearing thing, I would be wearing one of those long wearing lipsticks that doesn't rub off on things. And this is by ColourPop. This is their Color Lock line. And the color is called Passionate. It's a very practical purple. It, for me, goes with everything. And the fact that it is something that doesn't rub off on a mask, that's the most important thing a person can want in a lip color. This is for my brow bone color, and also if I thought that it would be practical to do any cheek colors at all, Seems to me cheek colors are kind of ridiculous during a pandemic when you're wearing a mask all the time. But this has enough colors that I can use for my brow bone color as well as being a highlighter. And this mascara is supposed to be waterproof. So far, so good. It seems to be, but it doesn't take forever. It's not the kind of waterproof that you absolutely have to have an oil to take it off. I've been able to soap and water wash, take this off. And soap and water washable is really a good idea when you're traveling. You don't have to bring an oil that you have to worry about it spilling in your luggage. Nobody wants that. So this is uncomplicated makeup. I'm not bringing a palette to have a different eye look every day. As much as I like to complicate things and have choices, when you're only going to be someplace a day or two, you don't want palettes that you know are going to break apart, like some companies that I will not name. You want something also that's not going to weight up your backpack. And as far as the skincare and toiletries, I've been able to get it all in this pretty gold bag. Here is, first of all, the most important thing I think you can bring is your sunblock. Gotta have that. Matter of fact, as I show you each of these things, I have to see. That's the thing, is whenever I take things from one thing into another, I have to have other receptacles to put it. Otherwise, I end up having a very disorganized, sloppy video. So I'm going to stick things in here. Yeah, your sunblock is very important. I like this, even though it's only SPF 30. I like it that it has hyaluronic acid and it doesn't have a whole lot of ingredients that make your skin greasy. So it's much more compatible with other skincare things. It doesn't make you look like your face is an oil pit. This is normally what I would bring, an assortment of brushes for 2 days makeup. But you know what? With this amount of makeup that I'm bringing, it doesn't seem right that I need to bring that. So I'm not bringing them. You need to have washcloths. I like a much smaller one that's softer, that helps with the makeup removal. But for getting in the shower, you want a nice, good textured washcloth so you can really get nice and clean. And I really do like a full-size washcloth. It just feels real good in the hand. To save space and so as to not take for granted the shampoo condition situation at my friend's house, I think it's always good to be prepared. You never know where, just in case where you're going to be showering isn't where you think it is. You really do want to be prepared. Also, I like to have a facial cleansing bar. You don't want to use a body soap as your facial cleanser. I really like to really take good care of my skin on the road. And something as simple as having good quality bar soap can go a long way. Also, I do have some makeup remover wipes. I don't really indulge in them at home too much. It's easier for me to just reuse the cloth ones and then wash again with a washcloth. But when I'm on the road, especially, I don't want to take the chance. I want to save time. And these makeup wipe removers really do save time. When you're crashing out on a friend's couch, and especially if there's a few people there, you don't want to be hogging bathroom time or whatever, or maybe you want to get a good early start on the day. So, of course, the toothbrush, gotta have that. Did you know? Oh, and this is the good body soap that is supposed to have deodorant qualities, and I believe it's antibacterial. Not that antibacterial soaps are a good idea, but you know what? I think right now during a pandemic, if it can make you feel a little bit more confident, especially when you're on the road. And keep in mind that you'll be having these on you all times if this is stuck in this toiletry bag and kept in the backpack. This is the straight white vinegar that I use as the first step to my skincare after I wash my face. And these white eyedroppers like this, and not having too much in this so it's not too heavy, this is probably one of the most important things of my skincare. To save on the chance of liquid spilling, I'm not going to be bringing my usual, all the eyedroppers for the different original ingredients. I'm going to be using some of this little jar here. It's the Avon A New Clinical Line and Wrinkle Corrector. How that's going to correct my wrinkles in 2 days on the road, I don't know. but so much less weight than carrying the 5 or 6 eyedroppers. And this is what it is here. Smells good, feels nice on the skin. This could be your night cream. This can be your day cream. Underneath, this is the toothpaste. It's always good to have toothpaste and a toothbrush on you, especially if you're eating outside. There's nothing worse than getting food stuck in your tooth and having a problem getting it out. This is a night cream. This happens to be was included in the full-size jar of this equivalent day cream, and I'm sure not bringing a heavy jar of anything on the road, but just seems like that would be good to have. These are really good to have when you just washed your face and maybe you've put some skincare on, or maybe you don't want to, you didn't bring a lot of skincare because you don't want to carry the weight of it. And if you sleep on a couch and people could be walking back and forth, these are really great to put on you face masks. So I always like to have them for, even though, you know what, if everybody's going to be masking, I don't know if anybody's going to be sleeping in masks. I don't know. I'm starting to really think about the implications of this whole idea. This is another moisturizer. This is a new clinical thermofirm. This is a facelifting cream. I don't know, but these little packets are really convenient size. This is 2 days and 2 nights right here. Another thing I think every bag of toiletries really needs, especially now, are alcohol wipes. Whenever you need a quick disinfection of something, a surface, your hands, yeah, these alcohol swabs, I just grabbed a handful of them. Really not a bad idea. These are tiny, tiny, tiny little pieces of towel. And if you find yourself in need of an extra way to clean yourself, very good idea. These and soap and water are your friend. So, oh, and tissues. Never a bad idea to have tissues. So, and this seems like I haven't forgotten anything. These are what I would bring in my toiletry and my makeup bags for a 2-day trip. I made a mistake. When I said that lipstick was by ColourPop, I was wrong. Its lipstick is by B&H Cosmetics. It's their Color Lock line, and the color is Passionate. If you really like a bright purple, I really like it a lot. You do need to seal it tightly, otherwise it'll dry out. And this I do kind of have to scrub it on, but it won't really come off on the inside of a mask. And so this does better than those liquid lip colors that I've been wearing so much. I am bringing one brush. I need a brush to be able to apply the powders in this palette. But one brush is better than 5 or 6 brushes. These would, I think, be the most practical shoes for everything I had planned. They are waterproof, they're sturdy, they're the sort of thing you can run in. They have good traction on them. They are warm due to the knit on them. Nice sturdy heel. Probably the very most crucial thing of everything that I would bring, should I even go to this thing, would be decent mask. This is my trusty N95. I have two. It's the best conditioned one of the ones I have. I'm also bringing some other masks just so that I can have some others if I need be, or if I can say layer a surgical mask underneath something else. I think that right now there's no excuse for anybody not to have a half a dozen masks in their pocket or in a Ziploc bag or someplace safe. And definitely you want to have a separate bag so that as you use them, you can set them aside until such time as you can wash them. It may not be possible to wash and air dry something when you're on the road. That's why probably bringing a half a dozen at least masks with you is a good idea. Just be sure to have a separate place so you can separate the clean ones from the dirty ones, just like you would with your laundry. When I travel, the main reason why I do travel is so I can make content for my YouTube channel. And that, of course, means my trusty computer, and you need a carry case for that. This summer, I acquired this case. It is just the right size. I like that it zips up and you can put things like a notebook, one's clapboard fits in there, the cables that are needed to charge, headphones, lavalier microphone, anything that you would possibly need. So this here basically would be my YouTube channel in a bag. Can't travel without that. This comes to the sad reality of undertaking a trip like this. I didn't find out about this March for Trump until maybe 5 days ago. And the more I read about it, the more I thought that there was a chance that I might be able to pull this off. And so, without talking to the people I live with about it, I started planning what I would wear and what I would bring. And I started thinking about ways that I could do this as safely as possible, ways that I could somehow manage to film the march without getting too close to people, thinking about how wonderful it would be to be able to finally hand over the Christmas package to my friends. Uh, Whenever I travel any place, especially when I go to a place like Washington, D.C., it's always a networking place. It's always a place to find out about work and find out about ways to practice civic activism. So many social things that are very, very dangerous to do in a time like this. Uh, so I'm reading all this pro-Trump stuff from some of my fellow patriots on social networks, and I'm thinking this seems like a really exciting thing to do. And then I listen to talk radio, and I listen to different doctors that I've seen interviewed on different channels, just talking for 2 hours. Dr. Siegel was talking about COVID and the recent resurgence in places like El Paso and in the Midwest and even in rural places. And now, with the Centers for Disease Control having these absolutely draconian and unreasonable and impossible to follow recommendations for how to do Thanksgiving dinners, I mean, you might as well just everybody cook their own meal and cook it and eat it over either a Skype connection or Zoom, or just make YouTube videos about it and share it with your family or friends or the whole world. It seems to be sort of like there's no such thing as safe sex, really. You could just have safer sex. Well, during a pandemic, seems like nothing is safe. And if that's the case, and reading so many, like in one of the forums about this march, somebody asked whether this would be a mask required or a mask-free event. And over three-quarters of the people said, oh, don't wear a mask. If there's a million of us, they can't catch us all. And just the wanton disregard for even trying to be safe, and only a few people expressed any concern for the safety of the whole thing. And why don't people even try to at least do something minimal, at least to protect themselves and other people? And so many people not even bothering. I don't know whether it is a feeling of invincibility or whether it's a feeling of screw other people. My rights, my freedom is more important than feeling any personal responsibility to protecting other people, much less being protecting myself. I could see if this was just a victimless crime, like riding a motorcycle and not wearing a helmet. If you get into a crash, that's not going to impact anybody else if you get hit in the head and you die, except maybe the family you leave behind. You know, if you're the breadwinner, it'd suck for your kids. But with something like a pandemic, where not only are you vulnerable to catching something, but you could also spread things, it seems to me that why so many people think that it's cool to show your disobedience to the government, to the man, by choosing to not protect yourself at all. That really doesn't seem very logical to me. And then I'm thinking about how can you possibly be safe on this Greyhound bus? Even though I just opened up an email from them talking about all the stricter methods of sanitation that they're employing. and stuff. When it boils down to it, I know that once buses start filling up, I saw that with New Jersey Transit. If it's so filled up that people are going to sit next to you, there's nothing you can do about it. They didn't say anything about having partitions between every single seat that is made of plastic that absolutely protects you from breathing on anybody at all. Can you imagine the cost of doing something like that? I would think that that might be a good idea to, but then if they say that droplets of COVID can go from really high and could go from along the ceiling and then could drop down and could still get people. They've said how droplets carry in a supermarket over the shelves. You figure how high a shelf is. A shelf is a good bit higher than people are usually, but droplets travel up through the air and then fall down. So it seems like it's still very dangerous, short of everybody having their own personal gas mask and having a fresh air supply up there. And of course, that would have to be sanitized before each person got on, or each person would have to maybe clean it off themselves so that they would accept responsibility for that. But again, can you imagine what that would do to the cost of bus tickets? I think though might be a good way for people to protect themselves. And then of course, well, what would they do about covering themselves with some kind of disinfectant thing without, say, messing up their hair or something? Like if you could sanitize your the surface of your hair with alcohol, if there could be a way of doing it, depending, of course, on your hairstyle. If it was all big and teased up and stuff, that would be, or spiky, that would be hard. But if it was in flat braids or something like this, you could just, pat it down like that. For sleek styles, just go. And heck, I do that sometimes. If the cats get their paws in my hair, and my hair is all tangled up, and it would be impossible for me by the time I brush my hair out and then get in the shower and shampoo it out and stuff. Sometimes it's easier just to use rubbing alcohol. Gotta, of course, make sure that it's much more than the 50% that so many store shelves are selling. I was just talking to somebody that was saying that people are doing runs on things again, just like they were with toilet paper and hand sanitizer. Now that the pandemic seems to be spiking in so many more places and having rebounding for the third time, so people supposedly are going in the stores and going crazy with buying much more of products than they need. Uh, but the more I think about it, the more I realize that there's no way to do this safely. I don't have a zoom lens. You can't fix a zoom lens to a laptop computer to get the kind of footage that I would need to be able to really show that I was there doing something good. It's almost like if nobody saw that I was there, if I couldn't prove it, if I was all the way away, did it really happen? It would not seem as real. The whole point of going to these things is to feel like you're a part of history. And the whole point of being these things is communicating with other people, sharing a big experience, sharing something that's bigger than yourselves. There's a real community there, whether you're sad about something or whether you're energized about something. And especially if you're a bunch of peaceful people and you're not there to pillage and loot and create mayhem. And it would have been a great place to go and get an ice cream cone, presidential scoops, if they're even still in business. But it just does not seem like there's any way to do this safe. So after having this whole build-up of what I would pack, I'm here to tell you that I've decided not to go. I just don't think it's a good idea, and I really question the safety, even of the people that are going in their own cars and they're getting hotels and things. Once you're there, there is no way. I know Washington, D.C. There is going to be no way to totally avoid people. And then once you're there and you see so many people that have their big flags and they're on the same side as you, it's irresistible not to share that humanity. So I can't do it. And until there's a vaccine, until there's a way that I can be absolutely sure that I can't risk not only getting it, but transferring it to somebody like my mother who would not survive it if she got it. When you're 79 and you have shortness of breath and you have heart failure and you have kidney problems and she's huffing and puffing, she's not getting very much oxygen. One of the things about this COVID-19, how it manifests itself, is in flooding the lungs. She sleeps propped up with 2 and 3 pillows sometimes. She must not get this. Therefore, if I'm any kind of a decent daughter at all, if I'm anything like a decent human being, I can't put myself in a position that's going to put her at risk. And plus the whole quarantine thing. Where am I going to go for 2 weeks after I go there and before I come home? I can't go and I'm not made of money. I can't go in a hotel room for 2 weeks. That's ridiculous. Oh, and then I would have to get a COVID test right afterwards. And the only place I know of where you can go that might be walk up is in Northfield. I have to take a city bus. And if I thought that there was a chance that I had it, I don't think it would be morally right to catch a city bus to go and even get the test. But I would have to get the COVID test before I went back home. So it just doesn't seem like it would be responsible for me to do. Okay, if you are, however, going to take chances at such a trip, these are some ideas for how you can undertake it if you were making the same plans. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content, I'd love to have you subscribe. If you do, hit that bell so you don't miss anything. I'd love to have you along with me on my adventures. Stay tuned. Bye.